recent nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
3 leading independent research organizations asked this question of 113,597 doctors. What cigarette do you smoke, doctor? The brand named most was Camel. Now, you probably enjoy rich, full flavor and cool mildness in a cigarette just as much as doctors do. And that's why, if you're not a Camel smoker now, try a Camel on your T-zone. That's T for taste and T for throat. Your true proving ground for any cigarette. See if Camel's rich flavor of superbly blended choice tobaccos isn't extra delightful to your taste. See if Camel's cool mildness isn't in harmony with your throat. See if you too don't say, Camels suit my T-zone to a T.
Those are 2 things you'll find in Camels. No other cigarette has Camel's rich, full flavor. The flavor of costly tobaccos, properly aged and expertly blended.
And no other cigarette gives you this conclusive evidence of mildness. In a coast-to-coast test, hundreds of people smoked only Camels for 30 days. Each week, noted throat specialists examined the throats of these smokers and reported not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels.
Yes, that's proof of mildness, based on day-in, day-out smoking. Not just a sniff or a puff.
Make your own 30-day Camel mildness test, the sensible test, the thorough test. You'll enjoy Camel's rich, full flavor from first puff to last. You'll see just how mild Camels are, and you'll know why more people smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see. Smoke Camel and see.
People smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see.
Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. The best tobacco makes the very best smoke. Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. Are you looking for flavor and mildness? Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. The best tobacco makes the very best smoke. Have a real cigarette, a real cigarette, a real cigarette, have a Camel.
Again, for the 11th straight year, Camel outsold every other cigarette, filter, king size, and regular. The best tobacco makes the best smoke. So if you're smoking more now but enjoying it less, change to Camels. Get more real satisfaction every time. Start to really enjoy smoking again.
Have a real cigarette, a real cigarette, a real cigarette, have a Camel.
During the shortage, we had to smoke whatever we could get. And although production was at an all-time high, the volume of demand for them made them seem to be the scarcest of the scarce. And did experience teach us that there's simply no substitute for Camel's costlier tobaccos and proper aging? It certainly did. For today, more people want Camels than ever before in the history of the brand. Yes, as old Aesop said, experience is the best teacher. C-A-M-E-L-S. Camels, the cigarette of costlier tobaccos. Each of the 2 Camel shows thus honors the different units of the Army, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard, a total of 1 million Camels set free each week. Camel broadcasts go out to the United States twice a week, are rebroadcast to practically every area in the world where our men are stationed, and in cooperation with the Good Neighbor policy, also to Central and South America. Listen again next Thursday to Abbott and Costello. A few words about this current cigarette shortage. No, I'm not going into a lot of long explanation, but I do want to say this on behalf of the makers of Camels. They made more Camels in 1944 than ever before in their history, and production schedules for 1945 provide for even more. Still, the demand for them cannot be met. But when you do get Camels, they're still Camels. Rich, full flavor, wonderful cool mildness. The Camel brand will not be sold down the river. Camels would not be Camels if they were made of green, insufficiently cured tobaccos. So every time you buy cigarettes, ask for Camels. The mildness and flavor of their costlier, properly aged tobaccos make them worth asking for again and again.
C-A-M-E-L-S.
War or peace, Camel is still Camel.
Wake up, chum, 8 o'clock.
Oh, what a lovely dream, those good old days. But now, well, let's face it, Camel is a hard brand to get, in spite of the fact that the makers of Camels have been turning out more cigarettes than ever before in their history. But when you do get Camels, they're still Camels. This brand will not be sold down the river. You can count on that. Only the choicer tobaccos properly aged go into Camels. So every time you buy cigarettes, ask for Camels. The mildness and rich, full flavor of their costlier tobaccos make them worth asking for again and again.
C-A-M-E-L-S.
Camels, war or peace, Camel is still Camel.
How mild can a cigarette be? Prove Camel's mildness for yourself in your own T-zone. T for taste and T for throat. Yes, try a Camel and prove to yourself what noted throat specialists reported in a coast-to-coast 30-day test of hundreds of men and women. In this test, men and women of all ages smoked Camels, and only Camels, for 30 days. An average of 1 to 2 packages a day. Noted throat specialists examined the throats of these smokers every week. They made in all 2,470 careful examinations, and they reported not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels. Prove it for yourself. Make your own Camel mildness test in your T-zone. If at any time you're not convinced that Camels are the mildest, yes, the mildest cigarette you've ever smoked, return the package with the unused cigarettes to the makers of Camels, and you will receive its full purchase price plus postage.